Hello and welcome back to another episode of Easy to Embellished. We're going to make 3 cards, stepping it up each time, and today we're going to use this gorgeous From the Deep Blue stamp set. This set is from the current May and June catalog, and I'm very excited to share these cards with you today. I love the ocean, and so this speaks my language. I'm showing you all the coordinating thin cuts. Basically the way it works, anything that's shaded in this blue color has a coordinating die. So there's just about one for everything in this particular stamp set, which I love. For our first card, we're starting off with a piece of white daisy. We have our seahorse stamp and also the coral stamp that we're going to be using both of those. I'm going to put this over a piece of our all-purpose mat, and I have our nectarine ink, and I'm just going to be stamping a border of the coral stamp across the bottom of my card. I want to kind of vary the heights as I stamp across. And I'm making sure to stamp off the edge so it looks like it's kind of coming, up from the corners and the bottom. And then we're just going to fill this space in like so. And that looks really nice. So we're ready for our seahorse. I'm going to be coloring them in, so I'm using intense black ink. This is alcohol marker friendly. So once it dries, it won't bleed when you add the markers to it. So I'm just stamping our little seahorse like so. And this actually looks really good, just black, without being colored, but we're going to color them in so you can see which one you like better. I'm adding the sentiment. Blessed to have you for a friend. This does come with this stamp set. There's a few sentiments on there. And I'm adding some bubbles here. There's 2 different size bubbles, and I just want to stagger these about the card. And I like to do things in odd numbers, so we're going to do 5 total. And I think that looks nice. Just adds a little detail. So like I said, I think this looks good as is, but let's color them in and see if that looks even better. I have my blue turquoise and my coral Spectrum Noir TriBlend marker, and I'm going to shade him in kind of two-tone. I'm going to use both of these colors just to make it a really colorful seahorse. They can be very colorful if you look these guys up on Pinterest just to see kind of different color patterns and get ideas. You can kind of make them anything you want to make them. A little while ago, I took my family to the Monterey Bay Aquarium, and they had an entire seahorse exhibit. It was very neat to see, and just so many different types of little seahorses, and it was just really cool. So I've decided to mat this on a piece of Lagoon cardstock. So we're just going to give this a little pop of color around the border. And now I'm ready to adhere this to my A2 card base. This is from the White Cards and Envelopes Value Pack. They're already pre-scored and ready to go, so they're super quick and easy to grab. And then we'll just layer that up on there. So here is our first card, all single layer stamping, and I think it looks great. Very quick and easy. So now let's step it up for card number 2. So you will need something to mask off your white daisy cardstock. I'm using Post-it removable labeling tape. This works really well, and because I'm using my grid little mat there, the VersaMat, I can line this up and make sure that I have straight lines from top to bottom. So definitely helps to have the grid for this technique. So now this is just a piece of printer paper that I've cut just slightly wider than my margin here. I've torn off a piece of the bottom, and now I'm using my toffee ink and a little inking tool here, and I'm just going to kind of drag the color down gently. I start on my little printer paper and then work down onto my project. And when you pull that away, we have a nice little inked background there. So I'm tearing it again. We're going to raise it up a bit, and I'm going to introduce a different color. We're going to use the Glacier and then add a layer of that. I have these really soft craft brushes that I found on Amazon, and I don't have one for every color, but I do for the green family, so I'm going to use this, and it gives a very soft blended look. I do like them. So we're just applying this Glacier layer there. And now we're going to repeat the process. I'm tearing this again, and it doesn't matter. We don't want it to be uniform, so just tear away. Whatever happens, happens. I just rub off on a piece of scrap paper to kind of clean these brushes, and just rub until you can't, you're not getting any more ink, and then you're ready for the next color. So now we are applying a layer of the Lagoon ink, and I like the little variants of shades that we're getting here. So that looks really pretty. And then we're going to add one more color. This is the Peacock, and we don't need a tape layer because we're just going to bring this down from the top, or a paper layer, excuse me. So we're just inking in this top space with the Peacock ink, and then we can go ahead and remove our masking tape. And I love that we get these beautiful crisp clean lines on the side there. We've just created a background, and it's really pretty, and it was super simple to do. This is going to be like an ocean floor, but you could use that for a mountain range also, just changing up the colors. So I have my little seahorse character again, and I'm inking him up in my black intense black ink, and we're going to need one for card number 3. So since I have it out, I'm just going to stamp a second seahorse there. So I forgot to do this before I removed my masking tape. Put that back on if you removed it, and then we're using our clear shimmer brush, and I'm going to add some splatters to my inked background there. And I know it doesn't look like much right now, but when I hold it up in the light, you'll really be able to see. And it's just a really pretty, it looks like kind of water drops. If you were doing this in a night sky, it would look like little twinkly stars. So I've already gone ahead and colored my little seahorse there, and now I'm using the peach ink, and I'm just going to add a little stamping to the upper right hand corner. We're just going to bring in a really soft, the peach color is very soft and subtle, and it just gives a little interest to that white space up above. So now I'm mounting this on a sheet of Peacock cardstock. And then I'm going to put foam adhesive squares. This is the center from our shaker windows that I have left over. So we're going to pop up our little seahorse character. And again, I have my A2 card base. I'll go ahead and attach this, getting it centered, making sure my margins are even. And then we are ready to stamp the sentiment. I'm going to use the same sentiment, blessed to have you for a friend. I think this is just a really nice sentiment that can be a just because kind of a card for a friend. And now we're ready to put our little seahorse character right on the side here, like so. So I have these blue glitter enamel dots from my stash, and I'm going to put 3 of them just kind of scattered about the card face to add a little bit of texture and interest, a little bling. So this is card number 2. I love that inked background. It's very cool. So for card number 3, I went ahead and used my stitched rectangle frames for the large and medium piece. I've already gone ahead and done that exact same inking technique on my little center panel there. So now I'm using the nectarine ink, and like the first card, I'm going to add a little stamping across the bottom of our background piece. I'm just going to add one to both the left and right corners and not do the center on this one. And now I am going to stamp the coral onto a piece of white daisy, and for this one we're going to use the die coordinating thin cut and run this through my die cutting machine. That post-it removable tape that we use to mask off our projects, I just tear bits and pieces, and it's perfect for tacking down my die cuts. So we're assembling all of our layers, and we have this stitched panel with the coral stamping on it, and then we are going to adhere this smaller stitched rectangle frame where we've inked the background into the center of our card here. And now I've already done the seahorse off camera, and now we're going to add a little gold embellishing thread. So go ahead and run your fingers over this to get rid of any kinks, and then we can wrap it around 3 or 4 times depending on the length of your thread. And you just want to pull those loops so they vary in size. And now I can take off the protective backing on my adhesive foam, and I'm going to put this gold embellishing thread right onto those adhesive squares. And now I'm flipping it over so some come out the front and some come out the back of the seahorse. And then when we put it on our card, that embellishing thread just adds a lot of texture and interest. So we've popped him up for a little dimension, and I'm going to do that to our coral piece as well. And then secure this on the bottom panel here. So we have some of that stamping behind, and then this popped up die cut in front, and it just adds a lot of layering to the card. So we can go ahead and adhere this to our A2 card panel, and then we'll trim off that piece that's hanging off the bottom there. So we can just flip it over, use the micro tip scissors and trim that off flush. And then for a finishing touch, I'm going to add some shimmer to our seahorse by using my clear shimmer brush and just going over the entire stamped image. So we need a sentiment, and I'm digging through my little stash of goodies here on my desk, and I found a thank you sentiment, and I really like the black. This is white or embossed white on black cardstock, and I love that look. So here's card number 3. You can really see that shimmer and shine and all the details. So let's look at them all. There's card number 1, card number 2 with the inked background, and then card number 3 with the background and all the layering. Which one's your favorite? I love them all. They're all fun. Some of us like more simple cards, some of us like really ornate cards. So leave me a comment and vote on your favorite. If you enjoyed these ocean themed cards, you are definitely going to want to check out this video here for more inspiration. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.